Hey y'all, this is TCA Gaming, and in this video I'm going to show you guys a purchase that I made as well as some stuff that I have going to auction. And then I'm going to talk about it's not a record sale, but it is very high, and I want to kind of just bring some of you into the loop on some of these lower pop WotC cards, because not all of the big sales are actually being posted online, and I wouldn't have believed it if somebody had just kind of mentioned it in passing, but now that I'm actually a part of it, I can confirm it myself. But anyways, so let's jump into, I've got a collection that I bought. There was quite a bit of like modern stuff in there, kind of like this, Brilliant Stars. Yeah, it's not even in the most recent generation, but still, to me, this is, pretty modern stuff. If you have a collection, feel free to reach out, but know that I'm not paying 90%. Most of the sealed product, I'm not even paying 80%. I'm closer to like the 70%. I'm factoring in selling it online, condition issues, buyer risk, that kind of thing. But feel free to reach out to me. Maybe we can work something out. All right. He did have some graded cards. Nothing too like super popular, super high end, but all this is really solid stuff. And so I was more than happy to pick it up because cards like this, I love putting up in the store. Like it's a pretty simple thing to scan these cards in, look them up on eBay. There's probably not going to be a ton of sales, but there might be one or two here and there. There might be a few available. Like cool little Magmar EX from Ruby and Sapphire, nice swirl on there. Aerodactyl EX from Sandstorm. You don't see them very often. Like I would much rather have a bunch of cards like this up in my store than the more liquid Bubble Muse, that kind of stuff, because I don't know, I just like seeing the old variety. These are they're not going to move as quickly, but they just look cool. I mean, I just like having this era up for sale. I think they're pretty safe, but usually less risk means less reward. Got Sceptile, Manectric, like just a regular Armaldo, reverse holographic from Holland Phantoms in an 8. You got Deoxys EX. So nothing too crazy there, but still really cool. Was more than happy to make an offer on this purchase or on this person's collection. I have this box up for sale. I got this one in. This came from the same person who had all of those other WotC Unlimited booster boxes that I'm now currently having scanned in. He decided to have this one auctioned off. It is a green wing box, and I feel confident enough in this box that I am not having it x-rayed. I am just going to have it sent directly to auction on eBay. In fact, you can find it there now. It's going to be ending on this Sunday, along with all of those Japanese Charizards that I had previously shown you guys in a video. Those all started at a penny. I think the one that's doing the best right now is the Shining Charizard, the Japanese Shining Charizard. It's like at $80,000 or something like that. And then the two no rarities, they're doing pretty good. But I'm curious to see where all of those end. And this will be in that block as well. So if you are interested, feel free to bid on it. Now, to get to the sale, I'm saying goodbye to a card today. My Typhlosion 17. And if you guys have been around here on the channel long enough, you know that when I bought this card, it was a little bit of drama. That was kind of behind it, because what had happened was this card had went through auction. It was a starting bid of 7,000, buy it now 10,000, and or it might not even had to buy it now the first go around. I don't know, because I didn't see it, but I do know from just what other people told me and where they talked about it in a thread on E4. It got no bids at $7,000. Nobody bid on it. Well, I didn't see it, and then when it come through the second time, the guy relisted it, same thing, $7,000 starting bid, and then 10,000 buy now. I just went ahead and snap bought it. And when I bought it, then I made a video here on YouTube. I was like, I spent $10,000 on one card. And that video did really well. But it kind of did spark a little bit of drama, just with people talking about, hey, why would you spend $10,000 on a card when you could have bought it for $7,000 and you didn't even, do it when it went through the first time in auction? Well, I didn't see it. But even though, I didn't see it, I was aware of it, after the fact. Maybe I could have just bid $7,000 and got it the second go around, but I didn't. I just went ahead and bought it and didn't take the chance. And honestly, it paid off. Now, I did have one guy on Instagram. Golly, he was trying to sell something to Mo. If you guys remember Mo, wanted to use me as a middleman, and this other guy refused because of who I was. Apparently he didn't like me at all, so much so that he wouldn't even ship stuff to me that I could then ship to Mo. And I reached out to him. I was like, I don't know who you are. I couldn't message him at first, so I went and followed him on Instagram. And But hey, I was like, I don't think we've ever done business before. Do you have any issues? He's like, Rusty, it's a long story, but I'll talk to you about it, later today. Next thing I know, he's like blowing up my Instagram stories with like vulgar comments. He's pissed that I bought this, that I bought the Venusaur, and I was making prices on, I don't know, I can't remember all of it, but it was not nice. It was very, very much so not nice, and so much so that I ended up screenshotting stuff, and it's the only Instagram post I've ever done something like that. And then after that, it was just it. I don't think really many people talked about it, and so the price on this card has went up quite a bit since then. I had somebody who saw that I was listing other cards in my personal collection on eBay, as I've told you guys I'm doing for a lot of stuff kind of high. He reached out to me like, hey, do you have this card? In fact, he had a list of different cards that he wanted to buy, but this was one of them. And I was like, I'm open to offers. I haven't decided if I'm going to sell everything yet. And he put an offer of $250,000 for this card. And I was like, has this card gone up that much? And so before I said anything, I reached out to Zach. I was like, hey, man, this is a strong offer, right? And he was like, no, sir. He's like, 400 is probably the fair market value. 500 to 600 might even be possible. And I was like, are you for real? And I was like, all right, I'm going to check you at your word. And I told him this. And by the end of the day, I had 2 people offering $350,000 on this card. And so I decided to do a little bit of push for it a day or so ago. And, but he said that he potentially could get somebody a little bit higher on it. One person kind of come in like a trade cash value, different, possibly around the 400 or so, but 350 just straight cash, very quick. That was more appealing to me. And so that's the sale. That's how much this card just sold for. And the reason I'm saying it in this video now is because a lot of people have asked, there's been multiple offers that come in at that price. And so I've made sure that anybody who's asked about, what the high offer is, I've let them know. So it's not just like a secret between me and the buyer itself, but also apparently there's been a sale at 200, 250, 275, and then there's also another one at 350. But I don't think any of those were like publicly anywhere, because if you go and look at, any site that has data information on this card, like none of those sales are anywhere close to that. And so I was an owner of this card, and I had no idea. But anyways, if you're wondering why it's so expensive, it's Pop 13. It's very iconic for being tough to get in the grade, but it's kind of like it's the fire starter for Generation 2. It's not Charizard, of course, but it's in that similar line, I guess you could say. This set is very well known for having print lines, making it very tough to grade. The backside is usually flawless, or it has like whitening in several areas. Well, this one does look really good on the back. The front's pretty good too. I think if you flash it the right way, you can get a print line somewhere in here. It's been so long since I've actually been able to try to get it out of it. But overall, this is a really nice card. In fact, this one, it could be reholdered to be turned into a Pop 1 for the Typhlosion Red Dot era, which I didn't even factor that into the value whatsoever. Didn't mention it with anybody because honestly, I wouldn't want to take the risk in getting this thing reholdered. If it got damaged, I might get quoted for like $13,000 or something really small for like the last. I don't even know what the last sale is on this, but it definitely wasn't anywhere 6 figures, but a lot of money. And so being an owner of the card, I was completely oblivious to the value of something like this. And so knowing that there's been, 1, 2, 3, 4, now 5 sales over $200,000 at least. I mean, there might have been more. Those are probably all locked away. That means there's 8 more out there, maybe not even that much that that might transact, that are not in some hardcore collector's collection. I mean, because to me, while this was very iconic for me, and I loved having the card for $350K, I think I can definitely buy into something else that I would value more. Like I got an entire Team Rocket First Edition PSA 10 set, the entire set, 1 through 83 cards for less than a third of this publicly in an auction. And so to me, I would rather have 3 more full Team Rocket sets than just one of these cards. I can get this in a CGC 10 or a PSA 9 and still have enjoyment for this card. But there's a lot of people out there, they just want the best. They want the lowest pop, the best. And a couple other examples of that. Like here's a card that's really beautiful. You've got the Mew from Expedition. Now this one I haven't sold yet, so I guess you could say I've got a bias and also have incentive to tell you how much I like the card. But beautiful swirl on it. I just put up for like $200K. And it's got low pop. I don't think there's been any sales close to that. I really don't even know what the most recent private sale is. It might not even be 6 figures. I mean, I really don't know. But for me, like this one, it's one of the best Mew artworks of all time, and now it's going to be one of the hardest to get to obtain. Like even if you could find an expedition box, then you have to pull a gem mint card, and you have to get it be graded that way. And this one has a really nice swirl too. But to give an example of something that's super low pop, we have this Skarmory right here. Like there's only 10 of these things. I remember when I first got this thing graded, somebody offered me $700 for it, and that was like a revolutionary price at the time. I was like, no, I'm gonna just keep it in my personal collection because I'm not seeing any that I could buy that I could replace it with. And for a while there, I was buying 9s at $100, thinking that I could just possibly get one and upgrade it to a 10 and make, a quick few $100. But it just never happened. And so there are 10 of these in the pop, and that's likely not to go up by more than a few anytime soon, maybe ever. Like I just sold a Poliwrath. I had the Poliwrath from Expedition. This one is sold. It's no longer in my collection. You can find this sale on eBay. It's pop 15, and it sold for $40,000, like almost instantly. I had a guy that was trying to work a deal with me for the Ampharos, and I was like, I don't think I'm willing to come down to Poliwrath. Let me check the pop. I think it's mid-teens, and before I was able to get back to that conversation, the card had sold. And so some of these really low pop cards are very expensive. So if you have any of these that you've been collecting, that you've set in your collection, you just set them back, maybe check them out. Just go see. Because if you've been watching Z and G, I mean, he's had so many of these reverse hollows, like that are commons, uncommons, sell for like $5,000. And, that wouldn't have been a thing last year, especially any time before that, in this hobby. And so it is interesting, and I just want to make sure that you guys are kind of aware that a lot of that is going on. Like there are deals like that are legitimate, being made behind the scenes. A lot of this stuff, it could be just be artificially pushed. So do understand there is a risk. Like if you are the buyer for these cards, they could come back. But with only 10 of these out there, mine and one other person's we're on eBay, so there's 8 others that are, if they're not in collections, maybe those come out. But I just don't know how we would have an influx of more of these like coming into the market. So I think people are feeling much more bullish with these cards that just you haven't seen any public sales for in years. They're just like, you know what, I'm gonna just get it now before I can't anymore because somebody's bought it and they tucked it away in a collection that's not going to come out until they die. And then who's my competition then? Because if you were waiting, like I waited on that Giovanni's Persian. Remember when I was making fun of like $10,000 for that card? Well, now $10,000 is a steal. Just in that little time, if I had bought it at that time, I could have just resold it and made quite a bit of money. And it's that way with a lot of the cards that I still needed for my WotC set. So I'm okay with not having all of the PSA 10s, for these super low pop cards. But there's a lot of collectors out there who do want that. They want the best of the best. They want to have the number one in the set registry. And the way that they're spending, they're going to get it. Does that mean it's going to be tucked away forever? It might. And it might mean that the next one to come by is going to be even that much harder. Or, who knows? Maybe everything comes back. Nobody has that crystal ball to know where the market is going for sure. But a lot of these sales, they are real. I'm getting so many people messaging me like, hey, these are being shielded. And I'm like, no, they're paid for. Like this stuff was paid for. So I am curious to see, where we go from here. WotC, for a while there, it did not get the attention like Modern was getting. Modern right now is kind of stalled, but a lot of it's still moving really, really fast. We saw the 151 Charizard, like that was one that kind of broke out of the mold, shot up to 2,000. I think it is coming back down some now, but still it's over where it was. Like my daughter was buying them for me at $750, 100% of market price at one of the card parties last year. And now, that price, we may never see that price again. Who knows? Maybe it'll come back, maybe it won't. But I don't know what it would take to get the price of the market back to that for that card. We'd have to see like a mass exodus of collectors and people who are just buying and selling, from the market. But anyways, sorry guys, I know I rambled a lot there, but I just wanted to kind of talk to you about that because I thought it was, when I first saw the price $250, I thought that was, like just a really strong offer. And it ended up being $350. Thanks to Zach. He really helped me out. He gave me a little insight, a little bit of insider knowledge there. And that's where it definitely helps. If you can talk with somebody that you trust within the hobby before you make a big decision, you might be able to save yourself a little bit of heartache seeing how a card can move for a bigger price, because there's people out there that I didn't even know had these huge collections. I started following 2 new guys, this past week, and I'm just watching them, post knowledge after knowledge about all these, you know, different pops and all the prices that we're seeing for rec. Like for me, for the record prices, I was just looking at Z&G. You know, I watch his stories. I see all the cool prices come through, but there's a lot of other people out there too. And so kudos to all of the people out there who don't get that recognition, that might only have 1,000 or 2 followers, but they've just got that information in there. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll stop rambling now and I hope you have a great weekend.